Good morning, Australia.
And good afternoon, Texas, the day before.
Yes.
We're always a bit ahead of you there.
That you are. I always love to know how the day is going to be. So you're the one I need to call to find that out.
That's right. It was a good day yesterday. You'll be fine.
How's things in Oz today?
Well, it's a beautiful, sunny, beautiful day.
It is here
it's a really
too.
good day. I'm actually going to teach level 2 today. So it's a good day for level 2 teaching.
Ooh, awesome. You know, I don't know about you, but I feel like I teach all the time, which is a good thing because that's what I love.
Yeah, me too.
Teaching all the time. Well, yeah. You know, I think we've got a fabulous little broadcast today. I'm really, really excited
She's pretty special.
About our guest. And if I spin the old globe around, I know where it's going to land, and it's almost going to land in your backyard.
Well, yeah, it's a 2-hour flight, but anyway, we won't go there.
many yards away, but right in your backyard. So would you like the honors to introduce our guest?
Sure. We're spinning the wheel, and it's going to land in a place called Queensland on the Gold Coast. And it's the amazing, famous Toni Miller.
Toni, come on down, Toni.
Come on down. Your gorgeous face. There she is.
You're muted, Toni. Unmute, please.
Doesn't she look wonderful?
Yay.
Hey.
Yes.
7 o'clock in the morning.
That's early. That's early. Well, Toni, I'm glad you're on our little show today, Iridology Around the World. Our mission is to get the name of iridology, hopefully in all households. I think that's very, very important. People know the term massage therapy. They know the term natural health, and they know the term foot reflexology, but a lot of people don't know iridology. And you are one of the great worldwide leaders of iridology, great teacher of iridology. And I understand there's a little something new out there. Would you like to tell us about it?
I would love to. So in 2008, I wrote this book, which was, it was a compilation of everything that I knew up to then. And then in 2016, we revised it. And integrated iridology is a combination of physical and emotional. But there was so much more to the emotional elements that I was aware of and had been teaching. And I thought, I need to leave a legacy. I must teach people what they need to know to really nourish their clients with beautiful words. So I've now written The Mind Matters, the emotional aspects of integrated iridology. And it is a most beautiful book, which covers all the subjects that I've ever taught, including time risk, RAID, birth order. It takes the place of about 6 books. And it's the best thing I have ever done. And there's material in here that's never been printed before, like, for instance, body shapes in birth order. We've produced 7 new charts that go with this as well. It's the best thing that a practitioner could have, because 1 in 2 people suffer with some sort of mental health issues. The anxiety's off the charts. What can we do? How can we help our people be the best, calmest version of themselves? And The Mind Matters will answer those questions.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Can't wait to get mine.
I know, I can't wait to get mine either. I'm excited.
Well, I've only just got mine, so I mean, it's pretty special. It's very, very special. I've devoted 2 years of my life to this, and at my age, 2 years, that's a fair contribution.
Yes. Well, I'm sure it's going to be an awesome book for every practitioner to have, and people that are not fully immersed in iridology, but they understand things like RAID and they understand natural health. it would be just an awesome accompaniment to their library anyways to have. So I'm excited.
It actually reads like a book that anyone can understand. So it's great for students. It's great for just people who've got an interest or a family.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? We've got some questions we'd like to ask you. Standard questions we kind of ask everybody. But before I ask a question, Chris, do you need a ball cap?
Yeah, you know what? It's so sunny today because the light's streaming in through the window.
I was
Yeah.
going to say,
Could you give me one?
It's almost blinding me, honey. Here.
Oh,
The chrome
got it?
thank you, Dale. Thank you for that.
You got it?
Oh, that's awesome.
Good. Thank
You
you.
saved the
Woo!
day again.
Much better. I thought I was going to have to go put on my sunshades. Okay. Well, Toni, I'm
Thank
going to
you.
ask you the first question. I'd like to know how long you've been an iridologist.
I started studying in 1981 and started teaching in 1984. So a long time.
So that's
40
about
years.
30,
40 years.
30,
40.
what?
40.
40
40.
years. Yeah.
Oh,
40
golly.
years.
You've been teaching longer than I'm alive because I'm only
Oh, no,
39.
teaching 37 years. 37 years.
She started when she was 19.
I
Yeah.
see. Almost as long as I've been alive. Okay, well,
Pretty
that's
much.
awesome. Chris, ask her the
Yeah,
next question.
Yeah. So, Toni, what inspired you to become an iridologist? What was the first thing what was the first seed?
Okay, well, now I really thought about this. In 1972, I went with a friend to a man called Mr. Herr. He was very famous at the time. And I didn't know about iridology, but he looked in this person's eyes. And in like about 2 minutes, he said to him, "You've got this problem. I want you to do this treatment and let's see how you go." And I went with him again in 2 months, and this condition that he had, and he'd had it for 11 years, had been almost completely resolved. So that really triggered me. And the same year, I took a very elderly friend of mine to a lady called Kath Aiken. Now, she's an Australian icon. She's up there with Dorothy Hall, not an author, but as a practitioner. And again, I watched her look in her eyes and do the right thing. You know, it was just amazing. So in 1973, I had a friend called Lorraine, and she looked in my eyes, this is before I had kids, and she said to me, "You've got a problem in your lungs." And I went, "No." She said, "Are you asthmatic?" "No." "Have you ever had any kind of lung condition?" "No." But then when I was pregnant and with my first child a couple of years later, I got asthma. And I'm thinking, really? Like, wow, this is amazing. And then my son, my firstborn son, he was an asthmatic baby and developed a complication with pneumonia. And here's me with my lung condition. Of course, I didn't understand then what I know now, but we almost lost him. And I ended up, somebody asked me, would I try herbal medicine? And I would have tried anything. And so in 1981, Rex and I started studying herbal medicine and nutrition, naturopathy, and iridology was part of that. I never, ever forgot the experience of that first time with Charlie and then with Mary. And then Lorraine telling me I had a lung condition. And of course, my lung condition is in my right eye, and my father died from lung cancer. So you can see the things slotting in together. Now, Rex and I are both trained in the same subjects: medical herbalism, naturopathy, iridology. His great love is herbal medicine. Mine has always been and will always be iridology. You know, sometimes you just find the niche. So I started teaching in 1984 after I had the privilege and honour of meeting and becoming a friend of Bernard Jensen. And our friendship lasted right up. The last time I spoke to him was 1 week before he died. I spoke to him on the phone. We had a very close relationship. And then in 1997, I met Daniele Laurito. I went over to America to learn about time risk, 1997. And it was the same year that I met Ellen, who talked to me about Rayed. So in 2001, I met Jenny and eventually Edith Cuff, who are just the most beautiful people. I mean, and Edith especially, I'm just very, very fond of her. So that's my thing in a nutshell, as an overview of my background and what lured me. So I had the desire, the burning desire to just know everything I could about iridology. And I think that I actually don't know how to estimate how many people I've ever looked at iridologically, but I was in full-time practice for 30 years. So let's say 30 to 60,000. I don't actually know how to do the numbers, but lots and lots. And I've had thousands of students. I think I've got about 600 students on my books at the moment. So although maybe I'm a teacher and a practitioner, the majority of what I've learned has come from my students and my patients. So thank you to all of you. You know who you are.
Beautiful.
Okay.
Isn't it awesome how the universe just lines us up to meet that iridologist or that practitioner that's going to take us to the next level? That's awesome.
I think when you're conscious, there's no accident.
There is no such thing as an accident.
We are all where we want and need to be. Whatever you focus on grows, and that's the theme that goes throughout the new book, The Mind Matters.
Yes.
So if you want to, I always used to say to my children, if things are going badly, look at where you're at, look at who you're with and what you're focusing on. So, and just change your viewpoint. You know, being positive is just, it's medicine. It's really medicine.
Absolutely.
And I just remember, like, I mean, I love that word about that saying about if you're being conscious, nothing's an accident. Because when I first did Toni's course back in, I think it was 2002 or 3, you know, I'd never heard of emotional iridology, and that's the course I was doing. And I thought, how can you possibly see emotions in iridology? And I just fell in love with my eye that day, that first day. I just loved it. It was so exciting. It was the best one for me to start with.
Yes.
Oh, I'm so glad. And isn't it funny? So going back to you are where you need to be. I didn't used to take students mid-course because I start with Essentials, which is the foundation, then Iris 1, which is the physical, then Iris 2, which is the emotional, and lastly, Iris 3, which is the practical, which is, you know, how to use what you've got in clinic. But when Christos said to me, like, I know I haven't done your first classes, but can I please just do this? And I went, oh, okay. And here we all are.
Here we all are. Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Right.
So with all the eyes that you have seen, and now you've seen many, 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 many eyes for many, many years now, can you tell us maybe what your favorite sign or favorite eye is to see?
Yes, absolutely. So I have discovered a sclera sign which relates to melanoma. That was amazing. And I personally discovered or named the pancreatic diaphysis. But my favorite sign, 100%, is the collarette. The collarette, because the collarette is completely unique, even in your own eyes. Like we say that eyes are completely unique, but the collarette also is. And it demonstrates the meeting of both the physical and emotional energies of every human being. So at its base level, we say it's the border between the absorption and distribution of energy. So we can look at it and we can see the gut capacity, for example, based on the size. And we can also see, though, from the size, we can also see whether they would be inclined to be shy or really extroverted. So just straight off the bat, large collarette, extrovert, small collarette, introvert. That's pretty amazing, and it's a great place to start in a consultation. Just, oh, I can see that you can feel a little bit uncomfortable in a large crowd if the person is an introvert, or, oh, I can really talk to you the way that, I could just slap you up the back straight off, because extroverts, they're more open to that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And so the shape and integrity of the collarette have a direct relationship according to the inherent tone, volume, and function of the intestinal tract. Now, we know that it's also known as the autonomic nerve rate, and that's because it shows us the communication between the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous systems. So this is, that's a very important part of our whole being. And it also is the meeting place between the deep and superficial energies. So in other words, it's the seam between the body and the mind. I'm going to go even further. It's referred to as a membrane between the interior and exterior. It's like our black box, the collarette. Mm-hmm. Now, Daniele said, and I'm just reading this here, the collarette is like a portrait of the psyche where the events of our lives are displayed. Wow, that's deep. Cool. Now, it's my belief that the collarette position, shape, and quality are influenced during gestation. And I know this to be a fact. And for probably the best part of 20 years, I've been asking people with particularly breaks or interruptions in the collarette to ask their mother about any kind of, some kind of trauma or drama during gestation at specific times of the month, like the third trimester or the second trimester. And I've had brilliant feedback. Yes, the answer is yes. And I'll just show you a page here. Oops. So in here, you can see, whoops, that the 9 months of gestation are displayed on our collarette. And so interruptions in the collarette relate to now in the physical, but also possibly during our own gestational period. So this is important for new mums to understand that there have been studies that show that trauma during gestation can even affect cognitive ability in that child. So, a calm heart is the best place for a baby to develop. Like if the mum is calm and supported, then the baby will thrive. So the collarette is absolutely my favorite sign, which is why I've devoted about 40 pages in the new book to it. And also, by the way, a brand new chart. So this chart has got 17 collarettes on it. It's also, the back of it is the bowel reflex signs. 17 colorette signs. And what does that mean physically and emotionally? Excuse me. So if you're in a consultation, you can hand the chart to the person and just say, well, as far, and by the way, you can see that it's color coded. So we've got, whoops, let me just, how do I get this on? So here. So we've got location, we've got quality, and we've got shape. And so you look at, like you do in constitutions, you look at color, structure, diathesis. In the colorette, you look at location, quality, and shape. And then they can also look at the emotional, how does that impact on me emotionally? Because these things are collective, cumulative, and they apply to each of us. It's just, I was so excited to share some completely new dimensions on the colorette. So absolutely my 100% favorite sign.
Cannot wait.
Awesome. Yay.
Well, we like to play a little game. It's not really a game. It's more of
minds.
That's right. That's exactly what it is. So what we're going to ask you to do is to pick a number between 1 and 36.
I'm going to pick my son's favorite number, 23.
23.
And like the law that you are where you need to be, I'm sure this is going to be the right one for me.
You know what? It always, this is a long one. Woo. Well, and it's just what we were talking about. I can't make this stuff up. I'm not, first of all, I'm not that good. I'm not that fast. I'm not that good or that fast. But it's, I'm not kidding. This is how long it is. This is going to be long.
Trust me to get that one.
Okay, so here it is. One
on
of
a Sunday morning.
Yeah, put your thinking cap on. Okay, so one of my children has a very small colorette. She complains that everything hurts her stomach. She only takes a few bites of food and she leaves the table. She argues if you want her to eat more. My kitchen is like a cafe that never closes. Her body shape is very petite and she doesn't seem to have much drive to participate with children her own age. She is also very withdrawn and shy around people outside of the home. Is this normal for someone with a small colorette?
Gee, that sounded like it just came straight out of
my That is amazing.
I told you, I cannot make this stuff up. This is
amazing.
I'm just blown away. Blown away.
Can I just take an opportunity here to read you what I say about children with a constricted collarette? It's so amazing. So this collarette type indicates an excitable nature which causes intestinal constriction and overcontraction of the digestive tract, particularly of the sphincter muscles. This can lead to constipation, which is associated also with anxiety and the inability to let go. Many find that they're unable to eat when they feel excited, and this is preferable due to the constriction induced by anxiety. They are easily excited and feel it in their stomachs. Children with this constricted collarette might describe the feeling of butterflies in their tummy when they become anxious. So the small collarette is an indicator of a small intestinal capacity. Habitual dietary overindulgence will have significant impact on their health. In fact, overeating is this client's pathway to illness.
So, Toni, I think you just pressed mute it. You just muted yourself.
Oh, sorry.
So you
were just overeating.
Overeating, sorry. Overeating is their pathway to disease. A small collarette is an indicator of a small intestinal capacity. They are well suited to small, frequent meals containing high quality nutrients. It is essential that they avoid overeating. That they avoid eating refined, nutrient deficient foods. This constitutional pattern can be activated in childhood And children with a constricted collarette present their parents with difficulty because they tend to reach satiety easily. This makes it essential that they avoid snacking just before mealtime, leaving no room for main meals. So with this little girl, it is typical of a small collarette that she would have those outcomes. And the mum needs to realize, like I've only read you part of that whole, I could go on, it goes on for another quite a while, but one of the things is that they need to avoid snacking. When they first come home from school, they can have a small snack and that's it, because they won't have any room left over for the nutritious meal that's coming maybe 2 hours later. So the mum needs to learn how to navigate around this child. And if, of course, she's a slight build, if she's got a small appetite, and she might be the second girl. If she's the two girl, she will be a smaller build. That's because the two girl is quite petite. And so you allow her to be her unique self. My daughter Jess was like this when she was a little girl, and she has that small collarette as well. And I used to force feed her, which is the wrong thing to do, you know, but I used to believe that you just treat all your kids the same, but I wished I had my time over again because they are also different. And Christos has had the benefit of knowing both orders since his children were tiny. So, you know, my grandchildren are coming up with the principles in mind, but, you know, we can make mistakes with our own children. But wasn't that an amazing?
It was an awesome answer.
Wow.
I'm not even going to touch it. I'm just going to leave it right there with you. I concur with everything you said, so there's no reason for me to even respond.
Yeah, I just want to say that I really agree with what Toni said, but also we need to make sure that she's not doing that snacking of kind of like empty calories, if you like. And what we did with our kids is that we don't have to do it now, obviously, because they're bigger, but we only provided the meals, and if they didn't eat the meals, then they kept it till the next meal.
We did that.
Yeah, so if they were hungry, then they could eat, because eating is such an emotional thing, and so many parents spend so much time saying, "You gotta eat this, you gotta eat that," and then their kids aren't eating, so they'll give them a peanut butter toast or some Wheat Bix instead, just so that they can actually get something. But someone always said to me, like, kids will never starve themselves.
No.
So if you provide them with some food, then until the next meal, then that's their food, unless they finish it.
Right.
So that's
Some parents will say, "Oh, but they won't eat anything but white bread," and I say, "Who buys the bread?"
Yeah.
You know, it's the same with like fussy eaters. I've said to, and you probably heard me say this in class, Christos, kids don't just not eat forever. Eventually they get hungry enough that they would eat whatever's in front of them. Sure. And we shouldn't pander to kids who say, "No, I don't like it if it hasn't got sugar," or "I don't like it if it's crunchy," or "I don't like it." I'd say to some adults, you know, who say, "Oh, I don't like it if it's got gluten." You know, like, sorry, I'm a tough love mother.
Yeah, that's really awesome.
Great. Cool.
Well, I tell you what, we have really enjoyed you being on Iridology Around the World. I am sure many, many ears will be sitting up to hear what you have to say.
She's our first one from Queensland.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
There you go.
And apparently the world's always better in Queensland.
Oh, well, actually, it's been a lot better place than Victoria's been.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Well, I thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Thank you, Toni.
Oh, thank you.
Go have a wonderful, wonderful day. Chris, you have a wonderful day.
Yep, you too.
And I'm getting ready for the World Series. Go Stros.
Thanks so much.
Okay, bye-bye, everyone.
Great to know you and work with you. Bye-bye.
Yeah, bye-bye.